Welcome, everyone, to the U Plus AI podcast. I'm Ranga, the host of the U Plus AI podcast, and this video segment, the U Plus AI podcast. I have with me Dr. Chris Lovejoy. Welcome, Chris. We just finished a podcast recording with Chris where he talked about his work as a clinical data scientist, his interests, and most interestingly, his recent effort to code up his own YouTube recommendation algorithm. So don't miss the podcast. With that, I welcome Chris, and I'd like Chris to give a short introduction of himself in the segment I call the elevator pitch.
Okay, thanks, Ranga. Hi, everybody. So my name is Christopher Lovejoy. I'm a medical doctor who trained in the UK and have trained and worked in Cambridge and London. And then I kind of been on a sort of 2-year journey so far of going on a deep dive into data science, which started with online courses, then worked at a startup, then did a master's degree, and I'm now working full-time as a data scientist.
All right, sounds good. Welcome, Chris. So we move to the next segment. The interesting segments, the fun starts now. So this is something called fill in the blanks. So this is like, I give you a sentence and you have to fill in the blanks where I say dash dash, right? We've been doing this from school, so it should be a piece of cake for you, Chris. So, so let's get started. So the first one, the biggest problem that AI can mitigate or resolve in healthcare is dash.
Lack of accessibility in the third world.
And could you explain that?
Sure, yeah. So I think just obviously there's a lot of potential sexy applications in the kind of developed world and sort of cool things that we can do. But I think the issue with the kind of doctor to patient ratios that you see in a lot of parts of the developing world is like a huge issue, and the amount of kind of health kind of issues that come as a result of that are pretty big. So using AI to try and solve some of those problems by just making it more accessible and giving a level of medical input to people who would otherwise be struggle even more to find it. I think there's a lot of potential.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you. So we now move to our next segment. I call this Imagine. And in this, I give you a scenario, a healthcare related scenario, 10 years from now. And you can let your imagination run riots and tell us how this would be 10 years from now. So here's your scenario. It is the year 2030. You wake up and notice that you're having a bit of a difficulty in breathing. You feel exhausted and not quite up to eating anything either. Walk us through your imagination of how this would proceed. That is a diagnosis, going on to treatment or resolution in 2030, given all the advances that will be there at that time.
Sure. So, I mean, what I would love to see, I don't know if it will necessarily come to fruition by 2030, but would be something along the lines of I would interact with some sort of kind of digital assistant, whether that is through a phone, an app, maybe just a screen on the wall. And I would have probably some sort of natural conversation with them and just explain, how I'm feeling. They might prompt me to take some other measurements, like maybe they would want to check my blood pressure, or they'd probably do some kind of like video analysis and just get some sort of insight into how I am and decide what the most appropriate thing to do is. And that would basically be like a kind of pre-screening. There would be a link between that and my doctor, so that then if they wanted to check with the doctor, they would, and that would be kind of calibrated so that if an appropriate level of risk is met, that then a human input would be sought. So yeah, then it would be a case of, if I need blood tests, it would arrange the blood tests. If I need a doctor appointment, it would arrange that. I think maybe that could be done pretty rapidly, so I could have a quick video consultation with the doctor if required, if they thought it was serious. If I needed a blood test, maybe I would have a home blood test kit, and the blood test itself might be done like in an automated way. Maybe I strap something on and it just takes my blood. Yeah, so that would become the initial thing, and then I guess obviously then the diagnosis would be generated. probably that data would be processed and seen by a clinician somewhere. Because I think there's still going to be a clinician in the loop.
We'll certainly hope so.
Yeah. Obviously, I think maybe there's a case of they wouldn't need to be fully involved until a certain level of concern is met. But once that level of concern is met, then it would go away to a clinician, and they would kind of do some input. And then I can be given a diagnosis and a treatment plan, which the clinician devises, and they may have different tools that help give them suggestions on that. So maybe some AI-based tools that recommend certain things, but then they obviously make the final decision.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Let's probably we should touch back base in 2030 and see what happens. So we move on to the next segment. It's called Tweet Saves the Day. So here I give you a scenario, and you're given a chance to write a tweet to save the day. So here's your scenario, Chris. A major hospital has deployed AI to give recommendations for tests to be administered to people when they show up for their annual health checkups. A short time after this, there is a feeling among the patients that this scheme is suggesting tests, some of which they have never gotten done previously, and that the overall number of tests in the annual health checkup has gone up, driving up the costs as well. You're given a chance to write a tweet to address these concerns. Please share the tweet with us.
So this is a tweet, I guess, for the people who are having this problem with the blood tests. I mean, if I know what the specific blood tests that people are often being requested are, then I would just do some sort of tweet that explains it. So I would say, just as simple as kind of short as I could, it would be something like, I have heard that people have been having extra blood tests. The most common ones are X, Y, and Z. X is for this, Y is for this, Z is for this, and just kind of explain, maybe why is that test been coming up more now? Is it a cause for concern? And just try and explain that as simple as possible in as few tweets as possible.
So you're doing the explanation for the AI.
I would say, since the introduction of this new system, people have more commonly requested these particular blood tests. The reason for this blood test is for this disease, and this is because our new model is able to detect this more sensitively or something, and just kind of go through each of these common blood tests. That would be the general gist of it.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Chris. That was fun. Okay, great. It's been fun to have you on the U+AI podcast, Chris. Really enjoyed your perspectives on the different segments. I hope I didn't put you too much in a spot. So thank you so much again. And I'd like to remind our viewers once again that we just did a podcast recording with Dr. Chris Lovejoy. It's available at uplusai.com and in all popular podcast apps. Please watch it to know Chris's work and ways you can reach out to him. Thank you again, Chris, for doing this.
Thank you for having me, Ranga. It's been a lot of fun.
Fantastic.